avort, a word to take you into Shabbat. I read recently an interview with Jerome Adams in which the former Surgeon General in the Trump administration shared his concern about what he calls a lack of mask compassion. He relates in this interview how he was told unsolicited by a Delta pilot to take off the mask he was wearing. Why was he wearing the mask? Because his wife is battling cancer and she's very vulnerable. And by wearing a mask, he was preventing himself from possibly catching COVID and passing it on to her. He also talked about the neighbor who used very, very unkind language criticizing him for wearing a mask. And his point was that we may think that we know why people are wearing or not wearing a mask, but the fact of the matter is we really don't know the truth. And in making assumptions, we end up judging people. The great Kabbalist, Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, who lived in the Middle Ages, had the following thing to say about the importance of truth. The most important thing of all is to refine one's mind in scrutinizing one's thoughts and examining oneself in the course of the give and take of conversation. If one finds even a trace of impure thought, one must retract one's words. One should always admit to the truth in order that tiferet, the quality of truth, be found there. For Rabbi Cordovero, we have to strive to be guided by the truth and to speak the truth. And in order to do that, we have to recognize that we don't always have the truth. We don't possess the truth. And so I want to share this message with you because I think that many of us who hew to a particular political perspective or narrative, whether it's related to wearing masks or not wearing masks, we end up judging other people. And I think we need to be a bit more compassionate. And that compassion comes from not knowing the truth, not making assumptions about why someone is either wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. In this spirit, I want you to know that at HNT, we will not tolerate intolerance when it comes to the wearing of a mask. We recognize that there are people who either themselves or their loved ones are medically compromised. And we want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable coming to the synagogue and being a part of our community. We also recognize that there are people who are fully vaccinated and feel very comfortable not wearing a mask. And I would hope that we would not judge them either. We need to make everybody feel comfortable. That's how we are going to move out of this endemic and how we are going to be able to recapture the spirit of what we were and who we were before the pandemic. So if you're reticent about coming to HNT for services because you want to wear a mask and you feel like you're going to be judged because you are wearing one, I want you to know there are plenty of people who continue to wear masks. I will probably be wearing a mask this Shabbat because I came into primary contact with someone who's not only diagnosed with COVID, but symptomatic with COVID. And I want to make sure that I don't pass anything on to you, especially if you're immunocompromised. And since I'm still within that window of being symptomatic or not symptomatic, or testing positive or not testing positive, I want to be cautiously careful. So I will be wearing a mask. And I know some of you will be disappointed by that. But in our tradition, pikuach nefesh, preserving a life, protecting life, that supersedes everything. So please come to HNT, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. But first and foremost, be compassionate about the people who may be doing the opposite of what you're doing. Shabbat Shalom.